Who did On the Waterfront? Who's the director?
Marlon Brando?
Did he direct it?
No, I don't think so. He was just a young kid
Who
at
was
the
the
time.
director? Come on, it was.
I don't think there was any.
He's an original Orson Welles. He's got to get the shots right. Make sure everything's.
Well, I'm going to get a crane shot.
Oh my God! Is that a helicopter shot? How is that going to cost me?
Hey, top of the line.
I really do feel like a guest here.
Well, you are a guest.
Dude. Come on, into the
dude.
conversation, dude.
Dude.
Here's how we're gonna.
He just called you dude.
You gotta be right here, 2, 3 fingers. I like putting my mouth real close to it, and when other people spit on this part, I really like getting that feeling.
Well,
I'm
that
really
actually
into
is the
it.
way it's supposed to
Dude.
All right, I'll keep the microphone in the right spot for you.
So, Mr. Danielewitz, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Hey,
we really
thanks,
appreciate it. And
Well, what
had
happened?
Niche on a few times, and we said, well, we need to have the crew.
Well,
we need to have a trusted crew.
Mike and I were sitting at Rosati's. Everybody knows that we go to Rosati's. And
Allegedly.
And we were talking.
Having soda pops, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
old style. That's the soda pop.
Miller Lite.
Did they have it
See,
that day?
that's what I roll too.
Right.
Now I have
if I'm
I
gonna
have
drink, it's
missed
gonna
my Rosati's on Friday 2 weeks in a row now, because last Friday I went to a Christmas party on Thursday at Top Golf for one of the trusted professionals, Dave Schwanner. Hey, Dave.
Dave.
He had
Sorry, I
one.
couldn't
You ever
make
been to
it.
that Top Golf?
You
out
know,
there?
it's funny that you said that. I just had an event there last night, the new Top Golf in Schaumburg.
Yeah, that's where we were.
I had about 20 clients that came by. We had a good time.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
Oh, it was a blast.
we had.
Were you watching the Players or the President's Cup out in Australia?
No, it was not on yet. Afterwards, we started watching
There
a
you
little
go.
bit. But the
Okay.
funny thing is I made it to the interview today, and I was there last night. So go ahead, Steve, finish your
Yeah, but
story.
you were the host. I was just the guest. So the host has to kind of stay, because you don't want to.
And usually Rosati's is after your
this
podcast.
So
and
yeah, but I had kind of tied one on over there, and I just didn't. And I actually came home from because that was last Thursday with the Bears, and I came home and I. That's when I really.
That's when
I really got serious drinking, and watched the game again, because I couldn't really watch the game when I was there because
See, that's so funny because I say tied one off, and somebody goes, "What are you on opiates? Like, what are you talking about? Tied one off?" I'm like, "Is that not the saying? It's tied one on." That's
whatever.
Definitely tied one on.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
know. Listen,
I tied it
I
off.
have. Yeah,
I didn't know where the show was going to go there, so let's. So Steve,
Are
tell
we
us what
still
was
on?
your.
Are we still? Are we? Is this thing on? Sorry, Deborah.
Please respect the microphones.
we had some.
microphone.
I do respect.
Should we yell
I
at
wish
the
the
mic?
microphone
Should we
respected
yell?
me.
So wait a minute, what was your best score hitting the golf?
I didn't.
You didn't keep
I gotta
track.
tell you
He didn't
something.
know how to keep.
No,
This
no.
going.
It keeps it for you.
Well,
You don't have to-
there's a whole bunch.
That's how bad it is.
But there's
That's
a
how
bunch
bad
of
it
different games. You got the Jewel game. You got these other games. Yeah, I don't want to. But I told you.
Sounds like someone doesn't want to tell us anything.
No, I really didn't keep score, but I did.
Handicapped
I did pick
7
up.
on this thing.
It had been some
Right.
time since I picked up a golf club, and I went to the 7-iron first, and man, I hit it really well. I was the first like 4 or 5 shots. Like, wow, that's golf. Oh, I can play this game, but you can't.
What level were you on?
The third.
You were on the third level, right?
Well, the suites are, because he had a suite also.
No,
so.
that's a good. We were on the second level.
Oh,
last
there's
night.
suites there
And
too?
the one club I brought in was a 7-iron.
Is that right?
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. 7-iron. That's the.
I'm a,
iron.
I'm a
The
6
trusted
iron guy. That's my trusted go-to if I'm in a sticky situation, which is all the time. I go right to the 6 iron.
No.
I could smack the daylights out of the ball. I mean, actually,
Up,
real
down?
straight too. My drive is terrible. My approach shot's okay, and I have a good short game.
Are there
I
s-
cannot drive the ball.
Are there
All
suites?
with, all with the 6-iron.
No, I sometimes a 6 iron.
Okay.
I'll tell you this, and I went golfing with my brother, and I started getting into golf recently. Okay, so I went golfing with my brother right at the end of September, or like middle of September.
His dad used to beg him to golf, but he would never.
Turn off the sound, will you?
I thought he did.
You didn't.
Okay.
So
Just checking, Jim. Just checking.
so I go golfing, and I'm on this par 3, all right, and we're golfing up in up in Lake Forest, or Lake Bluff. That's where it was. It was at Lake Bluff, and I'm hitting a 3-iron, or not 3-iron. I'm hitting a par 3, and I take out my 6 iron. And go, all right, baby, you got this. I tell you this, I hit the best damn shot I've ever hit in my life. I mean, it was straight on, baby. I got that thing knocked down. I went, yep, that. I mean, from where I was standing, boom, oh my God, boom, and I went, Johnny, I think that might have been a hole in one. That thing was just so perfect. I drive over there. I can't find my ball on the green. What the hell? What's going on? Of course, I'm driving on the green.
Of course.
Spinning out, doing donuts. For all you golfers, you
Golfer
can't do that.
etiquette.
Yeah, I'm following golf etiquette. I'll tell you, the ball was nowhere near the green. It was on.
I'm
It was
sure.
on the fairway. I went, but that was the straightest shot ever.
Just wasn't
You
hard
mean
enough.
before? It was before the green.
Yeah,
On
that's
the
what I
fairway. It
meant.
wasn't
What did
on
I
the
say?
other fairway.
No,
6 iron.
no.
Was it like 135 yard par 3 or?
What'd you say?
What'd you say?
I don't.
135 yards. What?
Yeah.
His
What did I
dad-
count the
his-
stops?
His
Like
father would
one?
use a 7-iron.
So you had to
His
say-
dad could outdrive me with the 7-iron because that kid, and everybody used to say to him, Jim, you're not supposed to get a 7-iron is not supposed to go 250 yards. Okay,
Hey, it's your comfort level, right? All your
Whatever you
confidence
can
with
hit.
that right club.
My father loved to say that he was a golfer, but I tell you, I've seen him golf. He wasn't.
well, most
He
golfers aren't golfers. I don't know. Are you like a scratch golfer or anything? Like
No, not even close.
You don't scratch?
Handicap 14. I do scratch.
that? That 14's not bad. That's
not terrible.
80s.
No, that's
Yeah,
not
it's
bad.
fine.
80s is good.
No, usually upper 80s.
I
low
think that's
90s.
We'll
that's a
have
good
to go
score.
shoot. We'll have to go play around
Before alcohol.
I could shoot.
See, that's the thing. Buy beer number 3 or 4 because I drink the Michelob Ultra when I'm on the course because I really want to.
I
Keep
shoot
it
80s
low.
too, but it's in the front nine.
The front nine.
So I have the Michelob.
Jimmy sounds like he probably goes like a beer a hole, right? He's that guy.
Yeah,
Depends what
That's hilarious because
Depends what
I
the
was.
bar girl looks like.
I
with
got
the,
it.
with the,
I got a 12 pack. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna put it in the
In the cart.
cart. I'm like, all right, first hole, I'm not gonna do it. And I actually parred, and I was like, baby, I think I got this. Of course, the next one. Slice, so I
That's what
crack them open.
That's what I love about golf, though, is that because you hit that ball and you feel good and it goes right where you want it to go, and you say, "See, I can play this game." 1 out of 150 shots, I could do that. It's like, whoop, that's it. But it gives you the feeling I can play this game.
Well, it's usually
That's why
on the,
golf is
it's usually on the
awesome.
17th or 18th hole. You'll hit that. You could be having the worst round in the world, and then that last hole, you'll hit one shot, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I love
got
this
it.
game.
I've been working.
I can't wait to play again.
I did. It's like you were there with me.
All right.
It's like you were there with me.
It's
We were
every
getting
golfer.
eaten by-
Hey, Steve, real
Yes,
quick.
yes,
Speaking
sir.
about being there with Jimmy. Look, do you see what he's wearing today? I mean, it's 20 degrees out, and he's showing us his pipes. This guy must have worked out this morning.
I didn't. I worked out yesterday. I got 19-inch biceps. So I,
I'm gonna
That's
tell you
the
something, Jim.
family.
I'm a big fan of yours, Jim. I don't know if you knew this.
Dave Schwanner did mention your 19-inch bike. He did. Because you got to tell everybody, 19 inches.
That's a
he,
funny
he never
thing,
really
though.
he never really measured them, so he doesn't know.
yeah,
He
I
just
asked
guessing.
him.
He just
It's a
guessing.
joke. I said it one time on the show, and apparently that's the tagline
Was
now.
that above the shoulder or below the shoulder,
his
above
chest.
the elbow?
That's
That's his chest. He's a strapping young man at 19 inches chest.
I can't take my eyes off the Chicago Bears logo on his
that's what I'm
chest.
saying, right?
It's right there.
I was gonna get one on the crotch area, but I thought that was not gonna.
That would be that'd be uncomfortable.
Are you okay over there?
No, this is a family
See,
show, Jim.
Yeah.
Call him Shifty Schiff. We don't call him Shifty Schiff for nothing. He's a shifty, dishonest guy.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
is a shifty, dishonest guy. You know, Deborah, I didn't bring my computer, and so I can't.
Can you print
I
up
can't,
all the articles
I
that he
can't
wants?
copy the audio from this. But I want the only audio I want.
A transcript?
No, no.
What do you mean?
No, I was
Explain
gonna.
to me.
I was gonna. Sometimes you know how I used to send you clips for audio clips.
Yes.
And I don't have my computer, so I can't do it. But I'm looking for the audio clip for Nancy Pelosi saying that they've been on this impeachment for 22 months.
Nancy Pelosi saying that?
Yes, she said it yesterday or the day before.
What the heck?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I shared it on Facebook, so it's easy to find.
Well,
Yeah,
but where was she saying this? What was it in an interview?
Interview,
or
yes, it was in.
with?
It was. I forget the woman's name. I could find it here. It's on my Facebook page. So I'll go to Facebook.
Tell me what I need to
Facebook,
search
sure.
for on YouTube.
Okay.
Bottom right corner.
There's a link.
It is?
Well, I mean, it's on the post. So like, comment, share on the right bottom right corner.
It is Pelosi admits they've been trying to
we'll have
impeach
to-
Trump for two
We'll
and a half
have
years.
to. We'll definitely have to go out
That's
and shoot around.
the
I mean,
title of
mean
the
go golf?
YouTube.
Yeah, go golfing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
I would love-
again, I just
Have you ever
gotten
been out
into
there
it.
before? You must have been out there at the Top Golf before you.
We did. We went out the week it opened. I had a couple of clients, and because we were waiting for it to open in Schaumburg. You did the one in Schaumburg, right?
Yeah.
But it's really in Wooddale. But
Well,
that's the address is really in Wooddale. But it's Schaumburg, right off.
it's the Schaumburg,
Me-
but it's the brand new one, the old
Meacham Road.
Motorola
yes,
property.
The
Yeah,
Meacham,
How
Meacham Road.
brand new is it?
No, it's on Progress Parkway.
Yeah, but it's right off of Meacham Road. You get
Yeah.
off of me
Right.
off the toll.
Wait,
Oh, no.
wait. How new is this?
Maybe a month.
It's fairly new. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No. The new one that they built a new one in Schaumburg, and it's only about a month old at this point.
I thought it was a little older, but I don't know. I don't know.
Because I went golfing over the summer at the one in Schaumburg.
No, that's the one over in Wooddale. Yes, there's one in Wooddale.
Stephen,
Yes, ma'am.
who
He went to the one in Woodville.
who released that video?
Oh,
I have it
I
on.
did the one in
I have it on
Schaumburg. You
YouTube.
go to
It's
the-
really nice.
Okay,
That's
well,
well, the
how is it
Wooddale one. It's
listed
the
on
same
YouTube?
thing.
And
you
it's,
know,
the
Yeah.
title
it's
is
same-
the
one
title
in
is
Schaumburg's,
Pelosi
like,
admits they've been
upgraded.
trying to
The heaters are
impeach
really
Trump for
nice.
2.5
Yeah.
years.
See, we did
The
it during
bar.
the summer, and we had it outside, so
Yeah.
it was.
So let me go
I
to-
didn't need to turn the heat on.
Yeah, true.
It was. It
Are
was
those
nice. I
heaters?
enjoyed it. I was
Are those
just-
heaters awesome or what?
They are the best.
I mean, it's like it's warmer outside hitting the ball.
You didn't even go to the new one.
I know.
You didn't even go to the new one.
And the heaters are even
He's
better
saying
at
it's
the new
better.
one.
He's saying it's better at the new
better.
one.
How could
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know
I'm
if
like,
I've been
what
to it. I thought it was the new one. I thought how could they have one?
newish?
No, it was right off the expressway here.
No, there's one in Schaumburg.
but that was
The
right
one
by.
in Wooddale is the one you went to.
It
Yeah.
can't be that close. They can't have two that close.
That's
They
what
do.
I'm saying.
They do, because when I was going out to the one that I went to the time I went 3 weeks ago, I went to the Wooddale by accident, and literally got right back on 53 to get up over by
over by there.
over
I
by
thought it
there.
was the one in Schaumburg. That's the one I went to. That maybe. That's how he what on his show the address he gave me. It was on
Which the House
Parkway.
Democrats
Something
are
Parkway.
moving.
Yeah, here,
If
hold on,
this
I'll
is-
look
but
it up
seriously
while
though,
we're.
seriously.
It's been going on for 22 months, okay? We have two
One of the biggest criticisms of the process has been the speed at which the House Democrats are moving. If this is, but seriously though, seriously.
It's been going on for 22 months, okay? We have 2.5 years, actually.
There has been some criticism, though, I will say, about whether or not you should move forward before the end of the year or wait for the courts. Why do you think now is the time to move?
Well, I think we're not moving with speed. This, was it 2.5 years ago that they initiated the Mueller investigation?
Not any of us came to Congress to impeach a president. This is very sad time for our country. It's a very somber time for our country.
Because we're going to go in there, we're going to impeach them.
Is on a Saturday. Halloween also falls on a Saturday. Christmas is a Friday.
Next year?
And New
Next
Year's,
year, all
yeah,
2020.
2020. New Year's begins with a 3-day weekend.
I don't like Halloween on Saturday.
Why?
It takes away from.
No, it's just not as populated. The kids in our neighborhood go to parties instead of going
Right.
trick or treating.
Right.
That was 7 years ago we had it on a Saturday.
I've been doing it for some years now, and the
I've
Saturday.
been sitting with you. I've been doing the same thing
The
with you.
Saturday Sunday have not even Friday. The Friday Saturday
get it.
Sundays have not been good. You know,
Best
might
hot
have
dog.
been.
Best hot dogs on Halloween ever.
Hands down.
It might have been. It might have been just that year, but
Best free hot dogs on Halloween.
I thought this year was
Yes,
pretty
that
good
is
with,
true.
The, with,
That's
the,
free.
with the snow everywhere. I thought I liked it.
By the way, getting back to the Top Golf idea, you know, I would love to be out there on like a January 17th day when it's snowing and it's about 15 degrees with a little wind chill, just to see.
Hitting the ball,
I
yeah.
bet you are warm, and apparently it melts. The snow melts. They have heaters on all the
pods?
the pods or whatever, the goals that you're shooting at. It's pretty cool, I guess.
Wow. I want to go out there when it's like a really raging
I did hit.
thunderstorm, where it's like really lightning's coming down.
And I did hit
You're
the
out
back.
there.
I did hit the back the back
screening?
screen in the back. Yeah, I did hit it.
No way.
I did, yeah.
He also has 19-inch biceps.
Hey, Jimmy, I'm going to call.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
BS.
I hit mine over the top.
I didn't say I hit it over the top.
I
I
was-
said I hit the screen in the
I was
back.
trying to hit it yesterday, and my ball was going off at it said 140 miles an hour, which I don't believe. Number one.
That's
Number
the flight
two.
trajectory.
Isn't
Number
it-
two was it's 207.
Even-
Even 207 yards. It's
I
215 to
believe
get
it.
there.
Oh, I didn't
I was
use a
one
7
bouncing
iron.
it. No, I grabbed their driver.
He hit the back corner on the right because it's sliced.
You think your uncle's that athletic?
No, I'm not athletic.
He
I
does a
could-
good. Hey, listen.
Is it 200 yards?
I'll
That's
get
not
on.
that far.
I'll get on
200 yards.
attorney
215.
Stephen Leahy when he's making a joke. But I've seen him climb some stairs.
Like
true.
3 or 4 or what are you talking about?
95 flights.
95.
Oh,
94
you
flights.
did the Hancock.
Yeah, we did
He
it.
did it in 20 minutes.
No way.
19
I've
minutes.
watched
and,
him do it.
Yeah,
I
19
watched him
minutes.
do it. He,
You did
he
do
gets
it?
his ass up there. He's hiking.
You know,
That's
someone
my-
said
that's
someone
my
said to me
workout.
the other day that the world record's 9 minutes, and I said, "No way."
That was him that probably told you.
It's 10 minutes. 10 minutes for the Hancock is the record. 10 minutes and something seconds.
and you did it in 20 minutes.
I did it in 19 minutes and 22 seconds.
And he's here to
Took
tell
me
us
half
about
an
it.
hour.
Wow.
Yeah, I did half an hour, and I'm
Well,
now,
overweight.
my-
He
My
probably
friend-
had to add about 10 pounds with the cooler on the side. Right? And
So I was gonna this year.
I do drink the night before.
This year,
so
I
that
was,
is a tough,
this
that
year
is
I
a
was going to
tougher-
kind of take it easy and not try to kill myself. But then I was on David Hochberg's show and he said, if you could beat 20 minutes this year, I'll give you $500. So for the cause, not for me.
If you set a world record,
And he gave $500 last year when I beat 20. It was actually the first year I think he gave me $500.
holy cow,
'Cause
$500
he's-
at Rosati's and Old Style. That
That's
goes a
a lot.
long way. He may be drinking that still.
Rosati's night would be like you partied like a
Well,
king.
that was last time we had the event there at Rosati's.
He may have literally crawled home.
I probably didn't even spend that much when we had an event at Rosati's.
We had two
Mama
events.
Bear would not have been happy.
No,
That's true.
no. We had two events at Rosati's. One of them was the
Oh, yeah,
Trust
but that
Radio
was-
Network books giveaway.
Huh.
What was that? We called it the 1 year. Oh, it was our anniversary
it was the
party for
5-year
the
anniversary.
5-year anniversary for the IRS Radio Hour. We just had our 1-year anniversary for this show
The
for
Trust
the Trust
Radio
Radio,
Network.
Network coming.
That was Niche.
And we just did a event in the David Hochberg suite, and then we're doing another one in February,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're doing the House Up the Hancock. So you guys see a theme? If you're really interested in being a part of the show, if you want to be part of the community, the trusted professional community, you guys got to go to our Facebook page, like, share, subscribe, do it all. You got to do all that stuff. So you guys can be a part of our events for
And I was
2020.
at the David Hochberg Center Ice
I'm always
Suite last
selling
Sunday.
too,
Also,
You are.
I invited
That's
Mike.
right.
I invited Mike Danielewitz to go, but he couldn't go.
Which one? Oh,
And
you
Jimmy
asked
was
me to
invited,
go.
and he wouldn't. He
I had to
couldn't go.
work. I was
But
so
I did
upset.
fill it up. I did get 12 people to go with
I
me.
was
I thought I
So-
saw a picture of you and Jimmy in the suite.
Jimmy wasn't there.
That wasn't Jimmy?
That was another time.
Was that a postcard cutout of Jim? Really?
No.
Did I have big
Although Jake was
biceps?
there with some of his.
You did actually. I think Jimmy was not wearing a shirt in that picture.
He never
You don't
wears
want
a
to see me
shirt.
without a shirt on. It's bad.
On that note, all set to jump into the
Let me
show.
get some water and we'll go right in.
On that note,
Wawa.
get me Wawa too, Jimbo.
I'm going to switch it. So, gentlemen, I've played a game of Russian roulette with you. One of you has iocane powder.
I've been.
Tasteless.
I've built up an immunity to that for over years.
Iocane powder. That's funny stuff.
So is there something you'd like to talk about, Mike?
No, I don't know. What I was trying to think of different topics. on the way here.
The second segment, I usually talk about people that you maybe some recent things. You and I were talking about social media stuff. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And
Was that in regards to surveillance or was it?
Yeah, about cases that
Right.
getting information about people. I thought initially I was thinking about consumers. But actually a big part of our audience are business owners.
Right.
Right. So, and those are the people that you help.
That's absolutely right.
And so you always think, well, workers' comp, that's a consumer thing, but they got to go against somebody, right?
Well, right.
Thank you, sir. What are you laughing about?
I was laughing with George. I had a chuckle with George.
You better stop it.
I can't have
Okay,
fun
so
with George.
I'm just teasing you. Okay, so but I thought that was interesting. When we had that discussion.
Oh, absolutely. No,
And
it
then-
used to be. It used to be. We always talk about the injured worker, right? Illinois workers' compensation system being there to protect the injured worker, but nowadays it's the injured employer.
Very good. We'll talk about that because that is absolutely true. It's really swung the pendulum.
Oh.
It's like it's like
The next
it's
one
like
to
personal injury
unionize-
attorneys.
The next group of workers unionize and all that are the restaurant workers when they start taking away the tips and working for the hourly wage. That's going to be the next thing.
That'd be great because
No,
then
but
they'll all
then-
close.
Same
Well,
thing
they'll
too.
all close,
They will.
or
They
your
will.
hamburger will now be $23 as
Yes.
opposed to.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's when they'll all
I know.
close because no one's going to spend.
No one's gonna spend the money.
That's the way
I
it
know.
is.
Everybody's
I
gonna start
was out.
All of a sudden, I'll figure out how to use Uber Eats.
I went to.
No. Don't ever get that. I'll tell you from somebody who has worked in the restaurant business.
Joey works there. Not
I
Uber
have
Eats,
watched
but-
countless. I'm not going to name any names here, okay? But I've watched countless orders sit there for over an hour and a half and get picked up by these third-party delivery services. I would never use them.
Okay, I get.
But I
get
think
it.
it's
But a lot of
rampant.
people
I
do.
think they're using. Like,
Yes,
I think
a lot
my
of people
kids using it at school.
Oh yeah.
At college.
Hey, listen, I get it.
Well, that's 'cause he's got a rich
but I'm the
dad.
kind of yeah. I'm
don't know
the kind
who
of
that
guy. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy though that likes to go to. If I'm going to go to, I don't go to Portillo's. Why? Because I'm not going to sit in that park. I'm not going to sit in the
In that
drive-thru.
line?
Same thing with McDonald's. If I go to McDonald's, I'm going to go walk inside. I'm going to go be fat. I'm going to go walk inside and be like, hey, with the shame on my face, look somebody in the eye and be like, I don't use the kiosk either. I don't want to use a kiosk. I don't want to sit and click stuff. I'm going to look you in the eye. Can I get a burger? Okay? Customize it because I'm not going to go play with this. I don't know how to use the system. Just put the damn burger in and let me take it. Get out of here.
He's like the type of guy. He wants a handshake. Hey, my name's Jim.
Yeah.
Today I would like a. And by
Yeah.
the way, I don't think he's wearing a shirt. when he goes in. That's what I'm saying, Steve. Seriously.
He's been banned from 37 McDonald's in the greater Chicago area for not wearing a shirt.
They have
Certainly-
a picture of him without a shirt at every McDonald's in America.
Coincidentally, he always wears shoes, but no shirt.
But no shirt. Well, you have to have shoes to have
Okay,
service.
so the
shirt
third-
not required.
The third segment, I don't know if Jim is
wear
going to.
yeah.
Are you going to do a real estate segment, Jim?
I had something I was going to talk about. and
Well,
I can't-
we could talk about the market. Up,
Oh,
up
I know what I'm
around-
going to talk about.
What? Okay.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
All set.
Okay, wait. I'm just going to finish, and then the fourth segment is the most common questions that you get. What kind of
Okay.
common questions you get, and then the fifth segment is very short, and so we'll just.
You could tell I had fun
But
the
here's
night before.
what's the key to the show, Jim? Tell them the key to the show.
Pay up.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have fun.
Have fun. We just have
Obviously
fun.
not pay up. Well,
I was just thinking
We'll
about how
talk
much
later.
money, how much is this going to cost me? I mean,
Have fun.
one
is
shirt.
really what it's all
It's
about.
gonna cost you a shirt.
All about. It's all
wait,
about.
so did
having
Nisha
fun.
have these earphones on?
Yeah.
Can I have a
Probably did.
different set? Hey, they're like sliding down on me.
Yep. Just make sure you stay close, like
I
Stephen
will.
and Jim said, and like you're looking at Jim and kind of me right now, so you want to be directly in front of the mic. So
Okay.
just something to be careful of.
That is absolutely true.
Welcome to the Trust Radio Network. Join your host, attorney Stephen A. Leahy, every Saturday night at 8, right here on AM 560, as he engages in conversation with some of the most trusted professionals in all of Chicagoland. Enjoy interviews with local professionals dedicated to providing the very best products and services. Learn who they are, what they do, and most importantly, why they do it. Take a step inside the minds of some of Chicagoland's most successful business leaders and learn all there is to know every Saturday night at 8 on the Trust Radio Network. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Tonight on the Trust Radio Network, attorney Stephen Leahy with Hope of Tax Resolutions. It's nippy out there,
It is a
attorney
little
Stephen
nippy
Leahy.
out there.
But that's
like Rush Limbaugh, Jim. I don't worry about this.
That's
stuff.
right. Aha! Cough.
Okay.
We have our
I have a
technical
cough drop
we
here.
have our technical producer Deborah Schreiner, best in the business. I'll continue to say that. I'm Jim Leahy, Leahy Real Estate with That Properties, and this is the Trust Radio Network.
And so we wanted to welcome you. Thanks again for joining us on Saturday night at 8 o'clock here on the Trust Radio Network on AM
Or 5,
560.
it depends, because if there's a game, maybe it will get moved
sometimes they
up.
do
Sometimes
change
it gets moved. We're on Saturday night, I know that.
AM 560, The Answer.
The Answer.
I am your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. And And remember now, this show is sponsored by the Law Office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC, and OPM Tax Resolutions, where OPM helps business professionals solve IRS problems. We help people with audits and levies, liens and garnishments, collections, unfiled tax returns, and payroll tax issues. But we also help people with mortgage foreclosures, loan modifications, bankruptcy, and other debt-related issues. So if you have any of these problems, or if you know someone who does, you should give us a call at 312-664-6649. Again, that number's 312-664-6649. You can visit us on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. Yes, Jim, he
I
has
have a
his hand
question. I
up.
have a question. What if I have problems with the state taxes? Can I still call you?
The answer is yes, but we've discussed the Illinois Department of Revenue.
No, I just want to make sure.
And the Illinois Department of Revenue is very difficult. But we'll talk about that. That's a very good question.
I just wanted to ask.
Okay, and I like the way you raised your hand, though.
Oh, I have a second question.
Okay,
Can we introduce our guest?
Oh, I am going to introduce our guest. Our guest today is Mike Danielewitz, attorney. Mike Danielewitz. Now, I have to be honest with people and tell I've known Mike for many, many years. Our kids played ball together, and Mike was the coach for
That is
Joe.
true. That is true.
I think were you the coach?
By
when
the
they
way,
won
hold
when
on.
they
Can
won
we
the
go back to
championship?
my introduction? Can
Yes,
it be
sure.
the trusted?
You are the
attorney,
trust.
Mike
Just being
Danielewitz?
on the show tells you that you are the trusted attorney.
Okay, I
Of
just want to
course,
make
that
sure.
goes
It's
without being said. His first time, he's already making requests. Niche wasn't like this.
Oh, I do remember you were.
I'm better than Niche.
You were
Tell
the
them
coach when the boys
That's why
won
you
the-
started off your new year with me.
Yeah, that's right. Dominate
We
the decade.
finished the year with him, and we start the year with you.
That's right. Go from bad to good.
Exactly.
So let's get a rundown. What do you do?
I am a defense attorney. Workers' compensation is our specialty. I have two partners. We have about a 13 attorney firm. I have one partner that's general liability defense. I have another partner that does workers' compensation defense. Workers' compensation defense has been my specialty for a good of my 26 years of practice in
The
law.
focus of your practice.
Yes. Yes.
I just want I'm an ethics guy.
I think you just wanted me to get to the point. I think
No.
that
I was
what you were
just trying to clear up that because
Anytime-
as you know,
yeah.
attorneys can't be specialized. They can't specialize in stuff.
Or be specific, right? Or get right to the point and not talk as much.
You are absolutely right.
You know what? Here's the
Absolutely.
thing. Whenever Attorney Stephen Leahy has an attorney on here,
Trusted Stephen Lee.
I get excited.
his eyes are as big as those earmuffs on his head.
I do like to talk law with on the show, legal stuff, because I'm kind of a junkie when it comes to that stuff. And one of it is Mike and I were sitting at Rosati's, and we were discussing different issues.
Rosati's in Bannockburn.
In
right?
Bannockburn,
Yes.
and I thought
my favorite place.
Mike is gonna be a great guest for the Trust Radio. I almost said the other show, the Trust Radio Network.
Which people should listen to, by the way.
But we talked a little bit about workers' comp. Everybody thinks of workers' comp as for the workers. But talk a little bit about that, about what's the atmosphere.
What do you
here
mean
in
by
Illinois.
defense? Workers?
Yeah,
comp
workers'
for defense?
compensation defense. And by the way, with that introduction, there's only one place I can go, and that's down after that. So thanks, Steve. So, anyways, with that being said, workers' compensation defense. So what we do is we represent either the employers in the state, either they're self-insured or they have insurance with a carrier, such as someone that you would know, like AIG or Zurich. They work through TPAs, third-party administrators, Gallagher Bassett's of the world, Sedgwick, and so forth. So we basically contract and do the work to defend the employer, because in the real world, what happens is if a worker injures themselves, something happens at work, and it's a misfortune, and it's happened for years and years and years. They have a system in the state called the Illinois Workers' Compensation Commission, the IWCC, and they can retain an attorney. They can file an application for adjustment of claim on their own and start a case.
Let me interrupt you, because I think it's so important that people understand this, because it's a whole separate legal system for workers' compensation.
It's an administrative system, as
Exactly.
we would from law school.
rather than a judge, right? You have
Correct.
administrative judges.
We have administrative hearing officers, and we have hearings. So, and we don't get to the circuit court level until we exhaust our
Unless,
administrative
yeah.
remedies.
But I think it's important because people don't understand that. I think
Correct.
most people don't understand that it's not like a court case or regular court, like you'd file a complaint in the circuit court.
Right. We don't. You're not going to go to. If you have a hearing, you will not go to the Daly Center. You will go to the at least in Cook County, you'll go to the building kitty corner to the Daly Center.
The Thompson.
The Thompson building. Go to the 8th floor.
That's right.
And that's where the administrative hearing offices are, as well as the administrative hearing judges.
Well, a lot of
That's
our
really exciting stuff.
well, a lot of our I think it is exciting stuff, and a lot of our listeners. A lot of our listeners are in on business for themselves. They're running their own business, and whenever you have employees, you have to have by law you have to have workers' compensation insurance.
You have to have it in the state. Of
so
Illinois.
it's not a so everybody who runs their own business has workers' compensation,
Correct.
or should have.
They should have it.
And so and whenever people get hurt, I mean, it's part of the job.
It happens.
And sometimes I just think it's interesting because there's two sides to everything, right? So
Absolutely.
So when people get hurt, they should be compensated. When people pretend to get hurt, they shouldn't be compensated. Right. And like every other avenue, there's good and bad in all of it.
Right. And by the way, everyone who gets hurt at work doesn't necessarily find themselves at the Illinois Workers' Compensation Commission. I mean, this year, we're nearing the end of the year, and we've surpassed 30,000 applications for adjustment of claim that would have been filed. So, in other words, a case being filed today will have like a number on it of 32,113, so 32,113.
And they start at 1 at the beginning of the year.
They start at 1. Every year starts at 1, 00001.
Mm-hmm.
So, January 1. So, with that being said, not everyone who injures themselves at work will be part of that, let's say, 32,000 that file an application. Sometimes the businesses will take care of the case outside of the administrative
Keep them
hearing.
in an office, maybe.
Well,
change their job a little bit.
No. I mean, really, they'll just take care. In other words, we'll get to the basics real quick here. The Illinois Workers' Compensation Commission. If you injure yourself in the state of Illinois, you're entitled to make sure that your lost time you're compensated for that, and medical benefits are paid for by the employer. All right. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of times, if an injured worker injures themselves, they'll be in touch with the company. The company may put them in touch with their insurance, their TPA, and then they'll talk to them about where they're getting their treatment. They'll take care of the bills. And then if they have to be off work because of the injury, they'll pay for their lost time. And thus, at the end, that's really the rights that are to be afforded by the employer. And a lot of times the injured worker who is now better just moves on and continues to work.
Like most contested, right? Most of them aren't contested, right? I mean, contested in the sense that we kind of both understand what the rules are. We follow the rules. I mean, there's always some contention about how much I should pay because there's generally an award at the end.
Settlement,
at
right?
the end, right?
Or an award,
Yeah,
right?
An award
So if you go to a hearing, you'll have an arbitrator that will write an award. If you if you settle the case out, a lot of times they do a lump sum settlement. So you'll close out your medical rights, and to be able to close out your medical rights, the company will give you X amount of money as a lump sum for what is perceived to be the disability that you may have encountered because of your injury.
Listen, we're running out of time. If I'm an employer, I'm looking for an attorney to talk to. What's your phone number?
312-277-3000.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, Mike Danielewitz, Nell O'Connor Danielewitz.
That's it.
All right, cool. I'm making sure. Sometimes the spelling, I know it says no, but it could be something completely different.
Canal.
Anyway, Open Tax Resolutions to sponsor this show, 312-664-6649, or visit chicagotaxteam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. Our interview will continue after the commercial break, so listen to them and come on back here on AM 560. The Answer.
That was good. Yeah. Let's talk about what you and I were talking about social media and things like that,
okay.
and different
tools.
ways. Yeah, different tools.
Like what? What was it?
Well,
she's on that.
In other words, so when the case gets going, well, the one thing what I'll say real quick when we get going is, most of the cases that I see are cases that are being disputed or there's questions about it.
Okay.
So that's the reason it gets to a defense attorney, unless it's a catastrophic type case where someone has died or lost, or there's an
So
amputation.
that's the only
or something.
time you see it is when there's
A
some
lot
sort of
times,
issues.
some sort of issue where someone we think is staying off work too long, is malingering in their treatment and so forth, and then we'll see that case. And then what happens with that one, for the most part, is you'll start to do things to figure out what this person is doing. Sometimes people like to double dip. They like to get,
doesn't?
they're collecting TTD, and then they're off doing a second job that they don't tell us about.
Okay, so this is
And now we
because I
get
didn't know
into
that.
the
So then we get
ideas.
to about what kind of cases you get. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I get excited about legal stuff. Makes me.
Yeah, you get all giddy with legal stuff.
No, I do.
He jumps up and down. He's like, don't give him a
That's
hug.
just not true.
I think
Jim.
he's
That's just
all
not
right,
true.
all
Jim.
right.
What do you mean?
I don't jump up and down.
No, it's
And now, back to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. The Answer. Real conversations with some of the most trusted professionals in Chicagoland. Once again, here's attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Welcome back. I am attorney Stephen A. Leahy. Like the guy just said, this is the Trust Radio Network here on AM 560.
The Answer.
Here with my co-host Jim Leahy. Our technical producer is Deborah Schreiner. And our guest this week is attorney Michael Danielewitz. And he helps companies in workers' compensation cases. So let's talk a little bit about that, Mike. About workers' comp. What kind of cases do you see? When do they come to you? Because not every case goes to you.
No, certainly not every case will get to the defense aspect. So usually it's either a catastrophic type case where a death is involved, unfortunately, or there's an amputation of some sort, or a severe debilitating type injury. So those cases will usually companies will get defense counsel on them. Then there are also the cases where we think that there's fraud involved. And companies will send those cases.
fraud
out
is
to
in what? Like, what do you mean by
Well,
fraud?
one of the components that need to happen is that there has to be an accident, something that the injured worker was doing at work that caused their injury. So, and a lot of times there's a lot of questions because a lot of times the injuries are not witnessed. So they question, and what they say is maybe the injury didn't happen. Maybe this person is trying to play the system, so to speak, or this person is trying to.
Or maybe they got hurt at home and then they come.
They came to work.
Because they get hurt. If you get hurt at home, you're not going to get paid. Because you're going to miss work.
You're
And
gonna
so
miss
they
work.
might come to work and
They
pretend
have
to get
companies
hurt.
for that.
What's that? Yeah, I know. Affleck.
No, don't give them free spot.
No free spots.
But anyway, that's
So yes, that's a type of fraudulent type case that would come to us, and then there are various avenues or vehicles that we could use as part of our defense because, as we were talking about earlier, the Illinois Workers' Compensation Commission being an administrative type situation, we don't have the same rules. It's not a rule. It's not a court. It's not a court of law. So we don't have the same evidentiary rules that are used in a circuit court where you go to a hearing and I can hearsay. The rules are much lax. The only depositions we do is an evidentiary of a doctor. We do not get to talk to the petitioner until that petitioner is under oath, sitting there in the hearing
And the
room.
petitioner is the injured party.
Is the injured
I
worker.
just want to make. They don't. I know that. You know that.
I
but Not
know.
everybody knows that.
That is very true.
Oh, we all know it.
Not we all know it.
Yeah.
That's right. No, but that's
Someone
right.
wake Jimmy up over there, will ya?
What's going on? When it comes to law, I'm a realtor. I'm not an attorney. I can't practice law. I want to disclose that over the radio.
I will be the first one to call on you. This
know
man
you-
is practicing
this man
law without a
is
license. I want him.
This man's ethical.
I want him jailed.
I want a measurement.
But anyway, let's talk about that because I think people don't realize about what's out there for you to find. How,
Oh, sure.
You
and some of the tools we use through surveillance. Surveillance is a very general term. So, the surveillance that we probably think about is someone following you with a camera hidden in their tie or walking around, right? And then there's surveillance. The simple. I'm probably giving too many secrets away now, but we probably find out the most information about people off of their own social media. It is amazing.
What people post on social media. Now, I'll tell you this. I've gone back into my memories tab and looked at some of the
Yeah,
posts I
don't
put
do
10
that,
years
Jim.
ago.
That's it. So I
What?
Let me give you a hint. What employers don't want to know is that if you're at home off work collecting temporary total disability, which is lost
TTD.
time, your TTD, and then they find out that you're down in Aruba having a great vacation with the family out there parasailing. Not a good picture of the post.
Now, I represent people in bankruptcy a lot, and not a lot, but I do some bankruptcies. And it's a common tool now for the trustee to look at the debtor's social media, because they put stuff out there. It's like, where's that car that you have there? You didn't report that car. And I had this happen. A guy had a classic vehicle, and he was taking pictures of it on his social media, and he didn't report it on the
That car
petition.
could be anywhere, though.
Well, I understand, but it raises questions. Is that then?
Absolutely.
So now it's like, whose car is that? Well, that wasn't my car. Maybe it wasn't his car, but maybe it was.
Can't be at a car show?
No, I understand, but that gives them some ammunition to look into. So a reason to ask you questions. So now I can get on LexisNexis and look up if that car is registered in your name, where I would maybe not do that.
Correct. You don't want to give anyone any reason to pause.
Oh, yeah.
Nor ask any questions. Now, trusted attorney Stephen Leahy's business, you do not. He doesn't really necessarily get the chance to question people. I, at least, have the opportunity to cross-examine the injured worker when they're finally on the stand. And by the way, that probably is the best part of my job, which I don't get to do that much that often, because probably of all the cases in the office, maybe 10% will actually get to an actual hearing. We'll probably settle out 90% of those cases, but it all depends on length of time and treatment of the injured worker.
I think non-lawyers don't understand how most cases, in a vast majority of almost every kind of law, they never go to trial, right?
Well, right. I mean, here, the truth is, if we go to a hearing, the length of time it takes from the cradle when the case comes into the office to death or grave, sometimes grave because they can appeal the case, but that's another story for maybe another edition of this. It could take up to 3 years, and by the way, that costs money.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things that one of my opponents love to say to me is, Danielewitz, you're over here, and guess what? You're getting paid for being over here, but you're actually costing me money, because the dollar for dollar that they would be making on their fee is actually now down to 90 cents to the dollar they're making on their fee, because they're over there and they don't get to bill their client. They only get to take a percentage of the settlement that may be out there.
And that's
down the
prescribed by
line.
law.
Wow. And it's absolutely by statute.
So it's prescribed by law.
20% in the workers' compensation field, which is different than the personal injury.
Generally,
which
it's a third.
We always think about a 33 or 40% if they
40%,
file.
yeah.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah, so it's limited on what they can make,
And
the longer it goes, the kind of less they
No,
make.
I learn
right?
I learn something
By the
on the
time.
show every day.
And most of my opponents, most of the petition, it's a small world in the workers' compensation. It's a small practice field. A lot of the attorneys on the other side, the petitioners, the ones who represent the injured workers, have been doing this for years and years. I mean, many years, much longer than me. And I'm starting to be.
And you're
considered-
old.
I'm an older guy at 52 and 26, years of
You look like a
practice.
day
at this
above
point.
45. Come on.
You're making me feel good. there, Jimmy.
47. 51.
That's what I do here. Is
Hey, I am
try to
not.
make our guests-
Steve, we're still keeping our shirts on in here while Jimmy's got his off, but that's okay.
I tell you, it's hard. Listen, this is a body by both.
As he looks at the clock to see how
So
much more time we got.
That is hilarious. As I'm like, geez.
So I had, as I mentioned earlier, that I know Mike for a long time, and I remember I was at one of my friend's offices, Maurici Figlioli, Jim Maurici,
a trusted professional.
a trusted professional. Been on
Dave
our show.
Figlioli is
Dave
the
Figlioli
workers'
the
comp
workers-
arm
yes,
of this, and
yes.
he's a very, very good attorney.
Yeah, he's a
very good man,
Yeah,
even
he is.
better man.
Yeah, he is. I agree with that. I agree. Dave's been asking Dave to come on the show. Well, we can maybe when I tell him that Michael's been on the show, then he'll say, I need equal time.
I think you need a rebuttal will be coming. And by the way, Dave will dissect. He will get on wherever this is going to be aired. He will get on and dissect this better than no other attorney out
He's
there.
a great guy. Yeah. So Maurici.
Well, that'd be
Figlioli,
interesting to have him on. And listen, the world of workers' compensation, again, as you just said, it's such a small field, such a small practice field. It's very, considering what we're talking about.
Okay,
with
so I was
marketing.
talking about this with an attorney that I know that she did some bankruptcy work. Okay, and I was like, I never really met her. I mean, I met her, but I never really worked with her because I only work with the other side. As again, what you were just talking about. From you don't talk to other guys who do your work. You talk to the guys on the other side. So the Dave Figliolis of the world, right? That's who you work with and you build these relationships with. And because, as you mentioned, it's a very small number of people, and so you're crossing paths all the time. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the one thing we say, and I know we're running out of time here real quick. It's the one thing we say is I have to go to work every day with these people. So is this the case I really want to burn that bridge with this attorney because I'm going to have another probably 100 cases with him.
And he's got to trust you because when you say something, he's got to trust that you're telling the truth.
There is that aspect. It's a close-knit field, and we're around each other all the time. Now, I advocate to the best of my ability for my client. I want the best doggone deal for them.
Exactly.
And he wants the same thing for his client. So
You guys are going to fight.
But honesty
tooth
is
and
still
nail
part.
for it.
well, we will, but with respect. The way the practice was supposed to be, the way the practice used to be. There's no standing and yelling and just getting in someone's face every moment of the practice.
Let's
And
get
when
your
that
phone-
happens,
hold
it's
on.
unusual.
We're
yes.
running out of time. Let's get your phone number.
Again, Nell O'Connor Danielewitz, 312-277-3000. If you're a business that you have questions about any workers' compensation, ask for Mike Danielewitz, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have.
That's your guy right there. Also, too, Open Tax Resolution sponsor this show, 312-664-6649, and visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. We got to take another commercial break, but right after the break, we're going to be interviewing Mike Danielewitz some more here on AM 560.
The Answer.
I don't have a computer. I was going to talk about fraud.
What kind of fraud?
Now people are coming out with
Did you go to
fake listings.
Did you go
What?
to?
Oh, to show that they're more popular.
No, fake listings. People come out, for like really rentals. So they'll put them up on these like Craigslist or something.
Right.
They'll put them up on these websites. They're fake listings.
It's a fake.
Yeah,
bait
but
and
what's
switch?
So they'll ask for a deposit first before you can see it.
I
They
was
take your
just gonna
money and
say,
they get
what's
out of
the-
there.
and then they're out.
Yeah.
And then you're
And
going
that's
to
why
try
it's
and get the
important to
key.
use a.
Did you go to the Bannockburn event? Oh, I know you're in.
Which
living, the event for the Beesons.
No.
Did you hear about
you mean town hall meeting or
Yeah,
whatever? I
yeah.
did not. I heard about it though.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Well, I got a dinner tonight with a bunch of like the Kringles and stuff like that, and they were already. They had Kerry
there,
Martin.
yeah.
They had Kerry Martin like cornered, talking about you
My son,
cannot
of course, my son Jake was there, and
I was there on the first one and it was heated. The
But I-
second one was real heated.
I heard there was over 125 people there. About 125 people.
No,
They moved it to the gym at the Bannockburn School.
Really?
Yeah.
That I mean, you know
They-
what?
they moved
Is this reminiscent of when they were trying to put the that nursing home in Riverwoods? When
I don't
Did
recall
you ever
that.
hear that?
No.
It was like literally about 6 months ago.
No, I didn't
They
hear
wanted
that.
to buy the house right on Duffy, about maybe I don't know, not even like 200 yards from our house.
Is that right?
And they wanted to have it rezoned for 13 people. And
I did hear that.
And Riverwoods was going nuts
No,
about it.
We don't want that.
We don't want it. We
They were
don't
talking
want
about
it.
60 units there on the corner. It's like nobody. We don't want that.
I'll tell you this.
And then some of the other talk starts stuff, because they don't. What they really don't want is, the low income,
Yeah, I know.
which is a shame.
I get it, but listen, something's going to come. Something's going to happen there at Beeson's.
Absolutely.
But
Yep.
Beeson's should not be the look of the. People should not be eyeballing that property. It should be the one across the street.
Well,
Here's the thing.
Oh,
We're
wait,
not
wait,
going to stop
wait.
Bannockburn Green.
No, but
That's coming over there
To put apartments in there. I've heard that, and I think that's a
because the
fallacy.
people that just bought that are the developers of the Glen.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going.
no, but I think they're doing that in Deerfield, where the barber shop
Yes.
in Il Forno.
You know where
Supposedly they're
no,
talking
that's
about.
not right there. What they're doing it is right behind the Joy.
Well,
where
where
the
the-
old Joy of the Game.
No,
used
no,
to
they're
be.
doing it there. No. That parking lot's gonna go where the Starfish used to be, and then on the backside where you get Potbelly's Starfish.
Yeah.
Then on the backside, that's gonna be housing. They're putting up apartments. It's already
It's been passed?
Apparently, like years ago, the possibility, the option of it.
Oh, the option of it?
Yeah.
I don't know, because there's so much coming around. They already have the Robert York
Well,
homes
let me
right
tell
there.
you that what just happened in Bannockburn, the turnout, I think will prevent any
They're doing
any
the
of this. What you're talking about, like, and I thought people were feeding
Poor
that
Kerry.
into.
Every time, that liberal Kerry. I mean, he tried first with the transfer stamp tax, and that went down in flames. And now they're
As I was saying, these people are mad. Why are you making me come out here? We don't want this.
Right.
Why are you making me come out to? And now, as Jake said, more people showed up at that meeting than voted in the last election.
right.
It's like,
Right.
well, now the next election they're going to be voting, right? Because they're going
Here's
to.
the thing, Bannockburn doesn't want to lose their quote-unquote charm. So they
Well,
don't, because I've
true.
dealt with this when I
true.
sold that home in Bannockburn. We wanted to, for us, what we wanted to do was to subdivide those. Oh, I don't know anybody that. Hold on. Yes, Mr. President.
Just answer. It might be a
Gettys-
Commonwealth.
it's from
it might be a ComEd phone.
It's from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I
Hey,
don't know the person.
I
from
bet you
Gettysburg.
they want to change your gas.
Fourscore and
service.
7 years
But
ago.
what can we talk about on the show, Jim, for real estate? I think this is interesting though because at least for us, because we're all living in the neighborhood over there.
Well, this is
I
wait.
think
This
so.
should be interesting for anybody that really lives in Lake County because this is happening
I'll say.
everywhere.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
Right? This is happening. We'll talk about.
Are you guys doing real estate or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You're listening to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. The Answer. Step inside the minds of some of Chicago's most successful business leaders. Here's your host, attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
I will sell this house today.
Welcome back. This is the
Say that
Trust.
every morning.
This is the Trust Radio Network here on AM 560. The Answer.
The Answer.
Here with Jim Leahy, my co-host, and Realtor, because we're going to talk about real estate. And Deborah Schreiner is our technical producer. Our guest today is attorney Michael Danielewitz.
Trusted attorney.
I'm going to keep
Michael
putting that in there.
Danielewitz.
Trusted.
He is a trusted
defense
attorney.
workers comp attorney.
And if you have been listening closely to this show, you probably figured out that I've known Mike for some time, and he lives by me, as Niche does, and that's why he's a.
It's almost like nepotism on
It's
the show.
almost
right?
because,
Yeah.
but because I want to introduce listeners to people that they can trust, and obviously I have to know that they can trust somebody before I would put them on the show to back them up with my own trusted professional, which is me.
Right.
Anyway, Jim, let's talk. What are we going to talk about?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. But before I begin, remember Leahy Real Estate with at Properties, 847-271-3695 is my phone number. Let's define your decade. That's the theme going forward.
I was just going to ask you.
Define your decade.
I was just going to ask you what you're going to change
gonna
from. Let's start talking. Playing
Define
about
your decade. And
tomorrow
really,
today. What was your other one?
Wait,
you know,
Jimmy, weren't you in high school 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was not. No.
Okay.
I was 19. I was I was in college.
Oh, I want to hear that first part of that decade.
So what are we going to talk about, Jim?
Mistakes were made.
Are we going to talk about Lake County real estate?
You know, again, ladies and gentlemen,
And what's
as I say,
going on
remember,
there?
define your decade. You know, what's going on around within the pretty much all throughout Lake County. You're starting to see, as we saw, Vernon Hills. They had the Melody Farms go up, and that style of where you can live right next to where you can eat, where you can shop, and you don't even have to leave the parking lot, and everything's right at your fingertips.
You don't need a car.
Luxury apartments. I use that term loosely. But no, you know, I've toured these places.
I
They
know
really are nice.
I know they're nice.
And they have all the amenities. I mean, I went to go take a look at this place in Lincolnshire that's got that. It's right next to the Regal Cinemas. And it's got these beautiful, you know, all the amenities galore. Nice little social gathering area. Beautiful hardwood. I'm sorry. What is it? Granite countertop in the pool courtyard. There's like about 10 of them, and you can sit and you can have party. And there's a grill that's, you know, right. Just
Community
right there.
grill?
Community grill, but they're not community grills. There's 10 tables with 10 grills that you can have that are you
Well,
sit a
still-
lot of people there.
Yeah.
So that's what everything's moving. Property taxes are too high.
Same thing in Deerfield, right? But I think that's south
coming
of
in right
that's
over
south
there.
of Lake Cook Road, but they're still building that.
They're going to be building it in Cook County because it is south of
And
Lake
we were
Cook Road.
we were as in between segments we were discussing one of the there's a
Newest proposal.
a
that's gonna
proposal
be
for
in
Bannockburn.
But this is going everywhere. This
I
is
know.
not going to stop. You're going to start seeing this everywhere. People aren't traditionally people around my age start purchasing homes.
It's kind of amazing.
That's not happening.
As you said, 10 years ago, it was really the McMansions going up everywhere, right?
Now
They-
nobody
they call
wants
the-
them.
Yeah,
Right.
big homes, big yards.
You can't get out of them fast enough
They
now.
can't get out of them. That's right.
Literally.
Oh, trust me, I know.
and you can't get out of them.
And you
because
can't.
Nobody wants it.
Trust me,
It's
I
tough.
know.
It's
And
a tough market.
Nobody wants the acreage anymore. Why should I
Well,
be
I
able
don't,
to?
you know what? I don't know if it's the acreage, and I don't know if it's the size of the house. We all want a huge house.
true.
We all
Well,
want the acres, but guess what?
the tax
I don't
bill.
want the tax bill.
The tax
It's the
bill, I agree
taxes,
with that.
but
I
when
agree
you're
with that.
paying the taxes, then all of a sudden goes, man, I have to upkeep the yard, and then what? Because we're at an age where we could just touch a button and everything is brought to us. We were just talking about Uber Eats and all these other
Yes.
different third-party delivery services. You don't even have to leave the McDonald's is brought to your house. Like, are you serious? Like, get up and go get McDonald's.
You spend
if
more-
you were going to get a Big Mac, go get up. Walk into the restaurant, go get it, with shame all over your
You
face.
spend
Me
more
too,
on
I do
delivery
it.
than you do on the
Can
food-
people see
on the
this?
food.
I mean, Jimmy's ripping his shirt off right now. It only lasted literally 5 minutes, people.
Just because my shirt's too tight and I wanted to represent the Bears.
Go Chicago Bears.
Well, hold on.
I
this
gotta
is
tell you,
gonna air
you're not a
after
small.
this game.
You're not a small, Jim. Okay, so wear a larger shirt next time.
It's actually body paint. She hates just wearing like a too tight of a shirt. You're like,
I can't look at Jimmy anymore. Steve, I'm just looking at you all day. That's it. That's it.
I understand the sentiment.
no, but
Wow.
but again, nobody wants to. You're right. It's the tax issue, but then it comes down to with the ease of everything. Like, why should I do all this? It just makes it. I want all the amenities, and then I don't even have to worry about taking care of my own place. Right? Something breaks, I'm going to call somebody, and they're going to come and fix it. Well, this is going to be happening everywhere. We're starting to see that, and that's just going to be the future. And
Well, I
it's just
think
the
it
way
happened
is.
downtown, right? I mean,
it
everything they're building
started
downtown
really-
is all rentals now.
Take
It's
a
not.
look at it. Yeah,
Yes,
take a
they're
look.
all
That's what
rentals.
it is.
There's 30 buildings going up, 30 stories or higher in downtown Chicago right now. 30 some buildings.
Who's going to rent them?
That's what I keep thinking. I'm like, well, who's going to live there?
Right.
I don't get it.
Well-
I guess they didn't plan it. I guess when I started building my building, I didn't know there was going to be 29 more.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking about the next decade, define it now. Define your decade. Give me a call. Leahy Real Estate with that Properties, 847-271-3695. We will plan out a marketing plan for your home and see what we can do to help best represent you and get top dollar for your listing.
Jim, could they start thinking about tomorrow today?
No. Define your decade. 847-271-3695.
Is that the next decade or this decade now?
Well,
The next decade.
define it. I don't know. Listen, we got to go to a commercial break, but come on back. We'll talk about open tax resolution when we return here on AM 560.
The answer.
I love that.
We got a lot
I made that
accomplished in
last
that one.
night. I made that. I know. It was really, really bad.
we went nowhere.
Trust me, I know.
That was fun.
I had it before because, again, I wanted to talk about the fraud, but I didn't have. My computer is down. I broke last night.
Gotcha.
Do you have questions now, Mike? I'm going to ask you about the most common questions that you get.
Okay. All right.
But again,
Where's your office? It's on LaSalle?
901 West Jackson. Nope.
Jackson.
West Loop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so
behind
you're-
2 blocks west of Greektown.
Oh.
Love all
Were
the
you always
Greektown.
down there?
Ever since when I left the old firm.
Okay,
yeah.
so
for
I have
7
a
years
friend of mine
now,
has
8 years.
has a office out there too, right there by you.
Who is it?
Craig Manchik. Do you know Manchik?
Manchik.
He's-
I know that name.
He's from our neighborhood. I get on the train with him a lot, so I see him down. He's been on the show.
Has he?
Craig Manchik. He does
Yeah.
nursing home, personal injury.
No, that's a big deal.
So George is watching Maury in the other room. I don't even know if that's
Maury. He always watches Maury.
Right now, in a trailer somewhere in the middle of Alabama, there's a redneck watching the show while eating cold Spam out of a can, thinking, "Look at this white trash."
Now, back to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. Hear from Chicago's business leaders. Learn who they are, what they do, and why they do it. Once again, here's attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Welcome back. This is the Trust Radio Network here on AM 560.
The Answer.
Here with Deborah Schreiner, Jim Leahy, and our guest is trusted attorney Michael Danielewitz. See what I did there,
Thank you.
On this,
Trusted.
Yeah, he's a
attorney.
trusted professional.
With his shirt on.
Yeah, he's a trusted
That's
professional.
the theme today.
It is a theme.
No shirt, no service.
No shoes, that's true. Okay, no service for
No,
you, Jim.
you don't have to have shoes. We accept barefoot people.
I think it's my
soup
name.
for you.
My name's Jimmy. No shirt.
Okay, Mike, I like to ask our guests. I like to ask our guests, and you've been doing this a long time. What's the most common questions you get from your clients?
Yeah, that's a
Well,
great question.
you have to remember that who I'm dealing with are employers, so risk managers or owners, business owners. So really, real quick, 20 years ago, workers' comp probably in the boardroom really wasn't talked about all that much. Now, when you walk into the boardroom, probably the first question that comes up is the risk manager is going to have to talk, and they're going to have to give an explanation as to why all this money from the company is being put in the workers' comp program.
Because workers' comp has gone way up, hasn't it?
Yes, medical costs have gone way up. Values of cases have gone way up. So, but
Talk a little
with
bit
that
about
being said,
because you mentioned this before. You mentioned about the who is it that are administrators and where do they come from, right? 'Cause
well,
you
all
mentioned-
the what you have to understand, because it's an administrative process at the Workers' Compensation Commission. So, all arbitrators, commissioners, chairman of the Workers' Compensation Commission are appointed by the governor.
Okay, and so in Illinois,
So obviously, if,
Illinois is pretty, especially Cook County, pretty pro worker, don't you think?
well, right now, I mean, yeah, definitely. Like if you have Dave Figlioli on here, he'd say probably about 4 or 5 years ago it was slanted and it was more conservative towards the businesses, but in reality, with the majority of Democratic governors that we've had, and the workers' rights and so forth, probably most arbitrators would be considered on a more moderate to liberal side when certainly looking at fact patterns and so forth.
And that's just a fact. That's just the way it works.
That's just the way it works in Illinois.
In Chicago, especially, that's just. And they
but
that's
there's
a reality.
With the Workers' Compensation Commission, because the governor appoints all the arbitrators, it doesn't matter. So down south in Collinsville, where there's a workers' compensation call, out west in Rock Island, where there's work, it doesn't matter. You're going to have the same type.
I see.
The same type of arbitrators that are there. So
Now, I can imagine that being a problem out in rural Illinois, especially with these smaller communities where maybe businesses don't have as much resources or funds compared to Chicago-based businesses.
I think I don't necessarily think.
Do you do any work outside of Cook County?
Yeah, we handle the whole state of Illinois.
Is that
We have
right?
an office. We have an office down in Joliet. We do City of Joliet work. We have an office down in Springfield. So we have three offices in the state.
I did not know
Spoken
that.
like a
With
true
our-
Chicago guy.
with our,
Joliet, that's
I would have called it.
That's way out.
I would have called that Joliet myself, but that's
Yes.
just my accent.
that's not part of Chicago.
It isn't.
I know.
It's
That's
a whole
Will-
different
that's
world
Will
down in
County.
Joliet.
I know.
Come on,
I
I
know.
grew up down south in Glenwood and Orland Park, and
Oh, did you really?
went to Marian Catholic. So
Okay.
There we go,
I
there we
see
go.
you. I see you.
Now we just pigeonholed them.
I know.
We know more about Mike than we ever did before.
Yeah.
Villanova
What's your shoes?
undergrad.
Yeah.
I
There
knew
we
that,
go.
too.
What's your shoe size?
That's my shoe size, 11. Sometimes 12, depends on the night before.
But go,
But anyway, let's go on a little bit about that because I
So-
think that's so important that people understand that.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, it is here. Getting back to the questions I'm most commonly asked is probably value of the case, length of the case, what my fees are going to be on the case. So, do we really think, given the atmosphere of Illinois, given the atmosphere of the Workers' Compensation Commission, the arbitrators, the leanings, do we really have
Is
a
it worth
chance
fighting
to
it?
win
That's
this
right.
case?
That's right. Is it worth fighting? Because it's a financial decision.
because you said, I mean, too, it's some of these cases last 3 years.
Oh no,
you know?
3 years. Some of the cases last 5 years, 7 years, 10 years.
That's a lot of money.
It's definitely a lot of money
It's a
in
lot of
defense
money
costs.
in defense, but needed. I'm not saying it's not needed, but
Right.
the point is that it makes sense to sit down and go, what is the overall cost of this? Because we're going to be in court for 10 years.
Well, sometimes sometimes you can't help that, depending on
Of
the
course,
type of injury,
of course.
the medical that's involved, and so forth. So, but for the most part, I mean, you want to try. Those cases are probably another 25% of the caseload. So, and the other 75, you're trying to get resolution in a short period of time, not only for your client but for the whole system in general. So, and what we always say is, hey, with 30,000 cases being filed, okay, there's plenty of work out there in a sense. Now, back probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I think 10 years ago, we were upwards of 40,000, 50,000 cases being filed.
So is that because it's just become harder to claim workers' comp?
You think
or is
the
it become
economy
easier?
goes bad and more people get hurt?
No, I mean, let's be honest here. The atmosphere for business in the state of Illinois is not good. A lot of my clients have shifted their focus to, and they've moved their business to our neighboring states: Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa, down in Missouri. So we have lost employers. You know, probably one of the biggest, and real quick, we're running out of time, I know. One of the biggest employers, really, or workers, are temp staffing in this state.
Oh.
Wow.
Temporary
We're going to
staffing.
continue this when we're after a commercial break, but Open Tax Resolutions are a sponsor. I got to tell you that. 312-664-6649. If it's ChicagoTaxTeam.com. Mike Danielewitz put a pin in that. All right? The trusted attorney Mike Danielewitz put a pin in. We're going to talk about that right after the commercial break here on AM 560.
The answer.
Cases, right? You know,
Right,
I want, yeah.
I didn't really. Because
The atmosphere of business
we hear
in
this
the
all the
state
time.
is not
I did
good.
not know.
My
many
friend,
temp
I remember we
agencies.
had my friend Jim Marisi on the show,
Marisi.
and I mentioned that people are, that's a myth. He said,
It's not a myth.
nobody's leaving. It's a
I
myth.
wouldn't name names. I would.
No, well, he
I
would,
get it, I
he will own up to that. That's his
Caterpillar.
opinion. He can have his opinion.
Caterpillar, aren't they going to? They're not going to Deerfield anymore.
Well,
are they?
their headquarters. Look at, for a company to have their headquarters is one thing. That's all white collar.
The building.
The
No, I know.
manufacturing,
The manufacturing has always been.
They're
out there.
shipping it out.
I knew the manufacturing.
Why do you think
has been-
Amazon built that facility just
course,
north
yes,
of the border?
Of course. How much money did you miss out on that?
Or Uline,
Uline,
right over the border.
absolutely.
All that.
He's spending a ton more money to expand that facility.
Right.
That all should be in Illinois. That all and both of
Could
those
you
would
imagine
be in
all
Illinois
those
if it
people
wasn't
that would be working out
financially.
in Waukegan?
Yeah.
All those people would have jobs out there in Waukegan.
If it wasn't, if it was financially
Have you driven
viable.
down 41 recently?
Also,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
And now, back to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. The Answer. Real conversations with some of the most trusted professionals in Chicagoland. Once again, here's attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Listen, we be back.
You interrupted me.
I know, I'm talking like trusted professional.
I see. That was Jim Leahy, the trusted professional realtor on the show. Our trusted professional technical producer is Deborah Schreiner, and our trusted professional attorney is Michael Danielewitz.
Guest attorney.
That's right. No, he's always putting these.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
Jim,
know,
do you think there's a theme like trusted attorney Stephen Leahy always? It seems like there's a lot of attorneys that are on here.
yeah, I say.
I
know,
like
he
to have
tells me
attorneys
call
on.
them.
I
You
like
know what's
to-
great about having attorneys on the show? You got to deal with their
staff.
Their staff?
There's a lot of hoops to get through just to get a phone
Well,
call.
as it should be. As it should be.
You should never be able to contact.
How did this interview set up?
Very simple.
I cut through the
Very
staff
simple.
and
I
I
gave you a hug and I gave you a kiss on both cheeks. Oh, I'm not going to go into it.
That's
I didn't
okay.
do that. I didn't
Actually,
do
it
that.
cut right through the staff.
You did have your shirt on for
and
that.
met him at the tavern. So that's
You know
how
what,
I
it's
cut
funny.
cut through the red tape.
So for everybody that's listening, again, as we know, Mike Danielewitz pretty well from out in Deerfield. You know, we
Riverwoods,
Bannockburn, all that stuff.
But you're Deerfield, Mike.
I am Deerfield.
You're a
Kids are going to
Deerfield
Deerfield
guy,
High School. We love the Warriors. Great football season
That's right.
this year.
What a great football
Youth
season.
Absolutely.
And I
baseball.
was-
You're a
Youth baseball. I'm still on the DYBA,
Are you really?
Deerfield Youth Baseball
and I
Association
coached
board.
the Young Warriors, so yeah.
Jimmy was young.
That's right.
Hey, we bleed red, right?
That's right up top, man.
That's right, man.
And gray, but that's because I have a blood infection. But that's,
Hey, real quick, I just want to say, when I go to hearing on cases, I always tell my clients, look, the facts will bring out the truth. And I do believe, even though, we talk about it being a little bit of a political system in the state of Illinois, but I do believe that when the facts go out to the arbitrators, that these arbitrators, some of them are attorneys. You don't have to be an attorney, by the way, to be an arbitrator.
I think we should change that, but that's just my opinion.
And I think I do want to say, because I never know who maybe listen to this, but I think they give a fair reading of the facts and they give a fair shot. So it's not.
Well, it's not so much the
That's
people
all
that are
you
making
really
those
ask for,
decisions.
fair
Correct.
It's not so much those people making those decisions. I'm talking about the people down in Springfield who are, the cost is unbelievable. I mean, anybody who runs a business, they get their workers' compensation bill every year, like I do, and it's going up. It ain't going
how
down.
do you have to have workers' comp?
I have workers.
Everybody.
Really?
Everyone who has an employer.
Who gets hurt at your office?
Well, you can get a paper cut.
That's what I said. I made a joke.
But anything could happen at any time. Anything could happen on the job. But again, and it does. There's a scale on how much you pay based on how risky it is. What kind of work you're doing.
There's actuarials that the actuaries take care of all that.
I know we're running out of time, but I wanted to mention because when
Hey, why is
most
it
of this stuff-
every session gets shorter and shorter?
I know it does, doesn't it? But like every injury they've got it down. Like this pays this pays that.
Well,
you lose an arm, you lose a leg, you lose a.
There's schedule loss. So schedule losses. So finger. We are running out of time, but schedule. So for finger, hand, arm, leg, foot.
It's kind of sad.
There is a percentage. There's a value to that.
Yeah.
So
how much? What you lose?
Weeks.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
It's all based on amount of weeks.
Thanks, Michael Danielewitz.
Yeah,
and there's a
thank you so
formula.
much. Can you get your phone number?
Yes, real quick. Nell O'Connor Danielewitz, Mike Danielewitz, 312-277-3000. Love to answer any question you may have. Doesn't have to be a case I have in the office.
So
I love
call
to
'em.
answer questions.
Trust Radio Network, ladies
That's why
and
he's a
gentlemen.
trusted professional.
We'll catch you next Saturday at 8 here on AM 560.
The answer.